The Saskatchewan government announced they will extend the Small Business Emergency Payment Program. This program launched back in April and was renewed in December to help small and medium-sized businesses during the COVID pandemic. People who applied were eligible for up to $5,000 a month. With restrictions staying the same, having programs like these can be a huge benefit for those businesses that have to make the necessary changes to follow health guidelines.
That puts a strain on our small businesses, and we know that we have to support them if we want to see a strong recovery when any restrictions are lifted.
Wednesday saw the announcement of job protection for employees looking to access the Canada Recovery Sickness and Caregiving benefit. This will protect those who miss work due to illness, self-isolation, or taking care of any family member with a sickness or disability.
We are amending that in order for them to be able to continue to access that as well. So hopefully that will help our small and medium-sized business stay in operation till we can get through this pandemic.
Businesses that want to apply for the Saskatchewan Small Business Emergency Payment have until March 2nd. For February, the month of love, Art of Flowers Lloydminster is having a Year of Love giveaway for proceeds going towards residents in recovery. The goal for this initiative is hoping to support others struggling, especially during COVID-19, in honor of the loss of their son Thomas, who battled depression and addiction. Our Shelby Clark has more.
Joining us for Primetime Local News today is Kelly Lynn Joy, the owner of Art of Flowers Lloydminster. How are you today?
Good, and you?
I'm very good. So I wanted to ask, of course, with Valentine's Day coming up, I'm sure your business is very busy at the moment. Can you tell me more about the Year of Love giveaway that you have going on right now?
The Year of Love giveaway is an opportunity for somebody to win $2,000 in flowers over the year. And it's a nice thing to do. I figured with it being the Year of Love, normally I would do a big promotion and lots of giveaways. My heart is kind of set on doing a promotion to help residents in recovery. I started it last year, and I'm going to continue it again this year and every year that myself and my husband own our shop, because it's very important and personal to us, just in regards to our son.
And how did the decision for giving the proceeds to residents in recovery first come up last year?
It was almost a year anniversary. My son passed February 27th, 2019. And so last year, I just wanted to do something to honor him in his memory, something good, something that's going to help somebody else.
And like you were saying, this is the second year now that you're doing this for your son and to help support residents in recovery.
Yes, I want them to succeed where my son, lost his battle. He had issues, he had depression, he had addiction, and it was a very difficult, anybody who has somebody like that, that's a family, it's very tough. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody, and I especially don't wish it on the person who's going through it, because it's very brutal.
And I'm very sorry to hear for your loss, Kelly Lynn. And I think this is a beautiful idea that you're doing this for residents in recovery.
Yeah.
Now, being only the third day in February, how has support been so far from residents with this Year of Love giveaway?
Well, you know what? We haven't really geared up a huge amount. We do have some interest, which is great and wonderful. It's just a matter of us, asking over the phone if somebody would like to do a $10 donation. It's definitely going to something that's well worthwhile. Very important to support people with mental health issues and addictions. And I mean, the work that Tyler and them are doing down there at Residents in Recovery is so important, especially now. I mean, everybody's struggling. We're all struggling. And if we can help somebody do something better, I mean, at the end of the day, kindness wins, right? Because we are all struggling at this point, especially with COVID too. I mean, that doesn't help.
And can you explain a bit more on how residents can help support this? They give a $10 donation?
We're going to be asking customers when they phone to place their orders or when they walk in if they'd like to do a $10 donation. And if they do so, we'll put their name in as an entry to win the $2,000 prize, which is, winning flowers for a year for your loved one. And however you want to do it, I mean, it ends up being $166.66 per month. So, I mean, you can split that up. You can come in and get flowers every week. You can get it once a month, that kind of thing, right? So,
And what else is the Art of Flowers doing for the month of February?
well, we're super busy. We're just getting everything all greened up right now. Just really lots and lots of vases, lots and lots of roses. I have a lot of teddy bears, a lot of chocolates already here. So it's kind of like one-stop shopping. We're going to be open. We're going to have people are going to be able to come in. They're going to be able to choose. We're doing things via, like, if people don't want to come in, that's absolutely fine. We have COVID rules in place, with social distancing, and we have hand sanitizer at quite a few stations in the store, and masking, of course. If somebody doesn't want to come in and shop themselves, that's absolutely fine. We definitely have delivery. We also have we take pictures. We'll send them to your phone. We'll text you. We'll send you pictures of the arrangement that you pick. We just do a lot of different things to make it easier for people to shop, especially because of COVID too, right?
Mhm. Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kelly Lynn.
Thank you, darling. You have a good day.
Alberta's Polar Plunge is back for its 10th consecutive year, and our Tate Lakecraft got to talk about the fundraiser going virtual.
With February underway, so is Special Olympic Alberta's annual Polar Plunge. And to talk with me about this year's version of the fundraiser, Provincial Director Braylon Hagan is here, joining me via Zoom. Thanks so much for being here, Braylon.
Happy to be here.
So to open things up, can you just give me a little bit of a rundown on what the Polar Plunge is and how it operates? Obviously, you guys have been running for years now, but for someone who might not be familiar, can you just lay it down?
Absolutely. So here in Alberta, we've been running, this will be our 10th year. That's why it's the Plunge X. And so for 10 years, I think we've raised just over $1 million just from the plunge alone. So, and with the law enforcement torch run, all the members helping out organize this, it's a worldwide thing that goes on. There's plunges all over the place. So we've been having ours here, and it goes to support. It's one of the big provincial initiatives for us. It's one of our bigger events, and it helps out 140 different communities across Alberta with their Special Olympics programs. So in Alberta, we have over 3,000 Special Olympic athletes that this benefits. So what it is we go jump in cold water usually. So anything from a lake to, I think Red Deer has had a big garbage bin that they have jumped into in the past. This year, of course, being a little bit different with being virtually, with everything being social distanced and all of our rules and regulations. So this year we're taking a different step and letting everybody decide how they want to do it. So anything from, there's been some out already that similar to the ice bucket challenge, getting a cold bucket of water dumped on them, to Jamie Saleh, who's a big supporter of Special Olympics. Her and her family took a dip in an ice bath at their home. So everybody's coming up with different ideas. So it's kind of a unique opportunity this year that everybody's able to show their creativity.
Do you think that maybe with more of an emphasis on an online presence this year, there's this strange potential for the plunge to be even bigger than it has been in previous years? How has the community response been so far?
I'm hoping that that's what takes off. So obviously, we normally have our communities from Edmonton, Red Deer, Calgary, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat were the main centers that were having the polar plunges in the past. And of course, with the COVID, this will open it up to other communities from Grand Prairie to Northern Alberta to you name it, anywhere we'll be able to participate in it. This year, they don't have to drive to one of these centers to participate in that. So I'm really hoping it takes off. As of now, I don't think we have the numbers yet. We here in Lethbridge, we normally have over 100 plungers alone here in Lethbridge where I'm at, and I think we're not too far above that right now for all of the province. So I'm really hoping this will be able to take off, and it gives the opportunity for anybody in the province to to participate. So let's keep our fingers crossed. We've got all the way till March to make this happen.
There's lots of time and ways for people to get involved, but moving on, could you tell me a little bit about your law enforcement torch run and how it's working this year?
So with the law enforcement torch run, like I say, we have a lot of events. This is one of our main events, but we have everything from runs. We have Boston Pizza, where we go and serve pizza and food to people for donations. Cops and Coras. So Coras has had events in the past. We've had roof sits, Free Our Finest. There's been a lot of different events. And of course, with all our restrictions right now and trying to keep everybody healthy and safe, the athletes healthy and safe, we've had to take a different approach. So everything has gone virtual, and this is being our main event. We've had to cancel a lot of other ones. So this one here is going to be our big one. So that's why we're hoping to have a lot of support this year, because there's so many other events that have canceled that will limit the amount of funds we raise for Special Olympics this year. So we're really hoping this takes off and provides the funds for our athletes here in Alberta.
And lastly, for people who are looking to get involved and maybe take their own polar plunge, how can they do so and where can they learn more?
You can go to the websites, specialolympics.ca/Alberta Polar Plunge. If you just throw Alberta Polar Plunge into the search engine, that's going to pop up for our Alberta Polar Plunge. You can register yourself to participate. Right now it's a $50 to register. $25 of that will give you a taxable donation receipt. So the other $25 kind of registration. That also gives you a $5 Tim Hortons card, gives you a mask. And there's going to be another little gift, from what I understand, from Sentinel Storage. So you do get a little bit of a goodie bag to participate. If you don't want to jump into some cold water or feel the cold, you can sponsor a friend of yours, a team of yours, or you can just go on that page and donate to Special Olympics in general. So I have a team set up myself with the Lethbridge Chief of Police and one of our inspectors and one of our police commission members. So we'll be participating, and I know there's a lot all over Alberta that are participating, everything from the Chief of Police in Edmonton to all sorts of good people. So let's hope this takes off and we can raise some money for our athletes.
Thanks so much for joining me, Braylon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tate.
Now our Connor Chan will take a first look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Looking right now, -16 with some cloud coverage we kind of saw throughout the day, and we're going to kind of see that continuing on over the next little bit here. We are going to have some clear skies heading into the weekend. It's just going to be the cold temperatures that are going to be the story. With that wind chill, it's -23, it feels like, outside right now. As we take a look at some other temperatures in the area, -16 in Vermilion, St. Paul, and Bonnyville as well. -15 up in Cold Lake with -17 in Lac La Biche, -13 in Wainwright and Edmonton as well, and -17 as we look out east in Saskatchewan, -17 in North Battleford, St. Walburg, Meadow Lake, and in Green Lake as well. Now, I speak of the cold because we look at this map right now. It does show some extreme cold warnings for most of this northern area here in Saskatchewan. Areas including like Maidstone, North Battleford, Unity, Meadow Lake, and Green Lake as well, with the wind going up to 20 kilometers an hour or maybe higher. It could get to those temperatures around -40 with that added wind chill. So it is going to get much colder throughout the weekend. As we take a look at the satellite radar map right now, in terms of snow, a lot of that is going to be more so down in those southern Alberta areas later on, mainly in that Red Deer, Calgary area. So nowhere close for us here. Just going to be the cold temperatures for the most part. Looking overnight tonight, -29 overnight in North Battleford with -25 tomorrow going into the daytime. We should see the sun come up a little bit more throughout the areas. It's just going to be the temperatures going to drop very dramatically over the next little bit here. -31 tonight in Cold Lake, going into -24 tomorrow for the daytime high. And then for us here in Lloydminster, -29 as well overnight tonight, going into -25 tomorrow for our daytime high. As we look ahead to the next 3 days here, as we look at those wind chill numbers, -38 with the added wind chill for tomorrow. We look ahead to Saturday, -36 the daytime low there, and then -29 to be will be the high there with the wind chill added, -46 expected there. And then we look ahead to Sunday, -41 as our start off to the day there. That's without the wind chill, so it is going to get very, very cold. And then with the wind chill, could feel like -52 to that -48 range as well. That is a look at your weather for now. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. This winter season, a lot more people have been spending time outdoors, doing different activities with family and friends. One of those activities being cross-country skiing.
With the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of people have been picking up new hobbies, including cross-country skiing, and I'm joined today with Brian Robinson, treasurer of the Lloydminster Cross Country Ski Club. So have you seen a big increase in numbers this year?
That would be an understatement. An understatement for sure. Like members, usually we have about 15 members registered. This year we got like 68. And we've rented out like 75 sets of skis this winter, which 2 years ago we didn't rent anything out. So it all kind of started last March when COVID hit. And that's when people really got interested, and this winter's just been phenomenal. Just because it's something you can do outside, you can do with your family, it's inexpensive, and you can social distance very easily out there. So that's the main reason people just need to get outside.
For those interested in cross-country skiing, where are some of the trails?
Our trails are located, it's called Poplar Bluff. So it's 16 kilometers east on Highway 303. And that's east of Lloydminster. And you'll see the signs directing you to our clubhouse if you go 16 kilometers east on 303, you'll see the signs and it'll direct you right to the clubhouse. So it's about a 15 or 20 minute drive from Lloyd. The trails here in Lloyd, like we set the trails at the golf course, and they're a little more open than what we have out at our club. But like we had early snow in November and very nice weather right through Christmas into January, so they were in very good shape, and they get skied frequent enough that they stay in pretty good shape. When the wind comes up, it blows the snow into the trail, but people will continue to ski even if they're not groomed. So it keeps the trails open. So they're very darn good for the amount of snow we have.
And if someone's looking to become a member, how can they do so?
You can go to our Lloydminster Cross Country Ski Club website, and there's a link on there that'll take you to a place that you can register. And you just pay by credit card. It's like $45 per year per person. So it's the same whether you're an adult or a child, it's the same. There's lots of areas around Lloyd for cross-country skiing, not just here, but we have set trails at Rolling Green Golf Course, a couple 3-kilometer loops out there. I know they're setting trails out at Sandy Beach, a group. There's also trails up Elmhurst, which is up by Bright Sand Lake, and there's also trails at Turtle Lake at the Nature Sanctuary, it's called. Where else? Vermilion's got trails. So yeah, it's everybody's getting into it, and hopefully next winters we have the same problems with running out of equipment. But we have ordered more equipment for next year. Of course, you can't buy anything from a store today. You have to order it. So we've ordered some more equipment, which will be here in September, October this fall.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Brian.
You're welcome, Jasmine. Take care.
Now here are your stock market prices for today.
Today's oil prices are brought to you by First General Services.
Welcome back. Beef producers around Alberta will be receiving some mail next week as Alberta Beef Producers' new magazine makes its debut. And Eric Bay has more on the excitement from ABP.
Alberta beef producers' new magazine is part of the group's media overhaul plan for this year. ABP hopes to streamline its information process through social media, web, and audio platforms.
We're super excited for producers to have the opportunity to see what we've been working on, to connect with them, as well as to put industry information directly in their hands a little differently, how we've been presenting it over the last years.
Planning for the magazine and other communication methods has been in the works for months, and ABP board members are happy to see their plans in motion.
We are ramping up to be involved more with our producers, making sure that they know exactly what their organization is doing and where their checkoff dollars are being spent. So I think 2021 is going to be a very exciting year for ABP.
The magazine will be released quarterly and include market reports along with new work in the beef industry.
We're really excited about this new project and the whole new way of communicating with producers, and we look forward to hearing from producers on what they think of the new magazine and the direction that we're headed.
ABP's revamped online platform and audio information are expected to debut soon after the magazine. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Now we'll take a look at your egg prices. Since November, the HHL season has been on pause, but that does not mean teams aren't active. The Lloydminster Bobcats have recently signed 2003-born forward Chase Visser, who previously played in St. Albert. Evan Kenny sat down with the Bobcats general manager.
Hockey might be on pause, but that doesn't mean that the hockey operations for the Lloydminster Bobcats are on pause. Joining me today is head coach and general manager Nigel Dubé. Nigel, thanks for taking this time.
Thanks for having me, Evan.
Now, Nigel, the team just announced a new signing, Chase Visser, coming out of the midget AAA, or rather the U18 AAA league for the St. Albert team there. I guess, first of all, Nigel, can you just tell us a little bit about him, what he's like as a player?
Well, he's a player that's been on our radar here for a few years, and I think one of those that through all this, be able to do the background checks and everything. We've watched a lot of video. Trying to figure out the day-to-day here is one thing, and then obviously planning for the future is another. And with Chase, I think his growth and his offensive side and what he can bring to the table there, and just a very veteran player of that league. But we also see him adding to our offensive group and contributing on the offensive side, which we've been, working to build and continue to build on here the last couple of years. And I think that Chase will be able to bring that for us. And then outside of that, just a fantastic human that has leader written all over him, and that's a big part too.
Now, which one of these points do you think stood out the most to you? Like you said, we've talked about it at different times. Offense is one thing that might have struggled a little bit in that 2019-20 season there. Was that really what jumped off the page to you?
Well, I think being that and being a little bit of a versatile player that we could put in the middle and on the outside too as well. You look at the signings, a player like Ethan Aucoin from a year ago that, had 6 goals in 8 games to start things off here. And then to add on the offensive side of it. And Chase had a strong start to the year, but also just being able to be a contributor in all 3 zones. We like to say that he checks all the boxes. I wouldn't say that, we're just going after the offense, because we have established a culture here that we want in the dressing room and continue to build on. That's a huge part, and everyone, you'll even look at the Twitter response to it of what a great human he is and what a great leader he is. So it just reiterates, what all the checks that we did on him were. And, there's other teams after him, and for us to come out and to have him be Bobcat is a huge part, and we're really excited about that.
So far during the 2020-21 season, that unfortunately did get shut down. He had 7 points in 6 games, sort of just solidifying that he is that offensive talent. But he comes out of that St. Albert program who, for the last handful of years throughout their bantam, that 15 year-old age group there and their midget age group have all seen tons of success. Do you think that's a big part in, obviously trying to bring success here to Lloydminster?
Well, he has been a part of that. There's no doubt, and I think that's the step that we have to take on the winning side of things. He knows how to be a winner. You look at the things that he's done in that program through that time, and being a contributor on the ice and in the dressing room. So, those are things that we look for in the player. And, Coach Jack Redlick there speaks very highly of him, a part of the success that they've had. And you go back to the 16s too, and he had a lot of offensive, 24 goals and put up numbers there. So there's no doubt that the confidence and the ability to score is there. And then he was on pace for that this year. So, the good part, and every day we talk to him, he's getting better some way, even through this, where it's the outdoor rink or in your garage. And again, it just talks to the character of the kid that, that's why we don't have to worry about that. We know where he's going to come in at next year.
With these kind of background checks and whatnot, obviously anybody can look at a stats page and see what he did. But do you think having a guy like Brady Backey with you guys, who obviously, used to coach in St. Albert, do you think having that extra connection really helps you get an understanding of who the player is as a person?
Yeah, it's huge, and Brady was a big part of it. Brady talked to the kid a lot and built that relationship, and had been there before, so he knew how they operated in St. Albert, and had been around them before and knew that. And again, Brady being able to do his background checks too, within his connections there, I think speaks for that. And it was huge. It was the day that he called in. Brady and I were both in my office and let us know. And Brady was pumped up, and that's a big part of it. And when we look at that, our staff does a great job by identifying that and also doing the homework on these kids to know what we're getting, not only in the hockey player.
Now, Nigel, final question. There is the potential that he could be with the Bobcats for the next 3 seasons. Now, we've talked about, a little bit of a culture shift and whatnot. How big is that, just getting a guy to possibly be here for 3 years and really just sort of raising him from the ground up there?
Well, that's a huge thing that we look at. And I think for us, we want to bring guys in here, and we want guys that want to be in Lloydminster, and then we want to be able to be the stepping stone for them to go on to the collegiate level, and to get to the next step. And I think that's a big part, his commitment along the way there, and now to bring him in here for next season and for things to get going. We have big expectations of him too. And the fun part with it is these players have just the big expectations for themselves. And that's what we would like. So we look forward to him being here, building on the core that we have established here, and then obviously continue to grow his game on and off the ice to get to the next level.
Well, Nigel, thank you very much for taking this time and joining me. This was Nigel Dubé, head coach and general manager of the Lloydminster Bobcats.
Thanks, Evan.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks a lot, Jasmine. Looking right now, -16, still for us here in Lloydminster. We're going to see that cold come our way within the next couple of hours and days or so. But looking out west a little further, -13 in Edmonton, -5s in Rocky Mountain House and Red Deer. Not too cold out there. 0 degrees in Jasper right now with -13 in Whitecourt. Looking ahead into Saskatchewan, -17 for North Battleford, -16 in Saskatoon, as well as in Meadow Lake, -15 in Prince Albert, and -18 degrees in Melfort. Now taking a look here up north in northern Saskatchewan and Alberta, -17 for La Loche and Buffalo Narrows. And then we look at the further northern regions in Uranium City at -26. It's getting pretty chilly up there. -22 for Stony Rapids and Wollaston Lake, with -23 there for South End. Looking ahead into northern Alberta, same results there as we look at areas like High Level and Fort Chipeway there. Fort McMurray and Peace River also at -20. -17 also for Grand Prairie and in Slave Lake as well. Now looking ahead to southern Alberta, a little bit warmer as well, looking at that 4 degrees in Lethbridge right now, while the opposite of the spectrum there in Medicine Hat at -4. -3 in Calgary and in Banff to talk there, and then -12 there for Coronation as we look down in southern areas there. And then of course it's a little bit of an opposite effect there in southern Saskatchewan. We see -17s there across the way there in Moose Jaw, Regina, and in Yorkton as well. -16 for Swift Current and 16 as well, excuse me, for Estevan. Now looking ahead across the rest of the country, Winnipeg got a lot colder today compared to yesterday, minus 16 with some cloud coverage there. 0 degrees we see in Toronto and in Quebec City right now. 6 degrees in St. John's with some fog and some showers in Halifax at that 2-degree mark right now. Some cloud coverage in Edmonton. 6 degrees in Vancouver with some rain, with minus 31 in Yellowknife with some clear skies. And then we look ahead into Whitehorse, minus 24 with the majority of it being the cloud coverage. Now taking a look here into tomorrow, minus 25 is our expected daytime high throughout the day, and it could get closer to that minus 40 with the wind chill, as I mentioned. That sounded, as I talked about that several times throughout today and of course yesterday as well. Minus 25 in Lloydminster, Vermilion, Marwayne for the immediate area there, as well as in Bonnyville. We'll see minus 23 for St. Paul and Lac La Biche tomorrow, minus 21 in Edmonton, minus 24 up in Cold Lake tomorrow. Of course, they could still be in the extreme cold warnings in those areas in Saskatchewan that do include Maidstone, North Battleford, Unity, Meadow Lake, and St. Walburg. Minus 26 for Meadow Lake and minus 24 for St. Walburg tomorrow, as we see minus 27 also for Isle La Crosse. Now, take a look here at the next 7 days. We're going to see some very cold mornings, especially on the weekend. Minus 36 to start the day off on Saturday, going to minus 29 as our daytime high. Minus 33 on Sunday for the high, with a low there of minus 41 on both Sunday and on Monday, and that doesn't include the wind chill, so it's going to be very, very cold. Make sure you do plug your vehicles in so you make sure you get to work on time on Monday. Minus 28 on Tuesday, and then minus 22 there on Wednesday, and then minus 20 there on Thursday, as we kind of start to get a little bit warmer, but still that wind chill is going to play a major factor over the next several days. But that is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news after the break.
Lauren Rhoda-Keberle is back with us this week, and this week we are going to talk about food when it comes to dealing with little ones, trying to find new and interesting things for them, and even starting on the spectrum when you're a new mom. Lauren, thank you for joining us again, and tell me a little bit about some of the things that you give to your daughter Collins to keep her interested and trying to keep her healthy at the same time.
Yes, so we started with baby-led weaning around 6 months, which is really fun because it means she's really eating what we're already eating as a family. And I joke that I've become the world's best prep chef, and you'll never see me make anything hot anymore. I'm just always prepping stuff for Collins. But you've talked to me before about my brownie pan recipes. So a lot of the time I'll make brownie pan, so square size food for Collins. And it's great because when she only had the palmer grasp, I would then cut it up into strips and she could grab it and eat it herself. And now that she has the pincer grasp, I can cut it and chop it up into little pieces and she can eat it from there. So she loves anything from my primal pancakes to eating shrimp.
Was there a bit of a testing kind of phase that went on with you too? Like you try things and you'd see what she likes and she doesn't like, or did you try to make things that even if she maybe wasn't crazy about them, you'd try and get her to eat them just because they were healthy?
Yes, it takes a lot of exposures for kids to like certain foods, especially. So even if she didn't like it at first, I would offer it many, many times. So a lot of people get discouraged thinking, oh, they didn't like it, I'm not going to offer it anymore. But you might have to offer something 15 times before they like it. Collins is like stuff pretty quickly, but I realized that there's going to be periods of time where she might even decide she doesn't like something, but I'll just keep offering.
So do you try and keep it healthy most of the time, or how do you incorporate treats in, especially when she's young and you don't want to give her too much sugar or get her used to the idea of eating sugar, in everything that she has?
Yes, I feel like she's at the age where she can't ask for it. She doesn't know what refined sugar is yet. So I really am limiting. She doesn't have refined sugar. Honey isn't safe for them under 1 year. So she's not having any of that. And I also want to limit salt under 1 year as well. So I'm just kind of modifying things in that way. But fruit is a great natural sugar that she loves. So I'll give her that kind of thing as a treat. But yeah, definitely making it as healthy as possible.
And how do you find new recipes and different things to give her as food? Is it something where you just kind of go along with, as you said, what you guys are making? Or do you talk with other moms too and say, hey, this is what we're doing, maybe try this, or this worked for my children? How do you kind of figure that out?
I love listening to dietitians podcasts. So sometimes I'll get information from that. Instagram is also great for that. And then, yes, we'll do a lot of modifications of what we're having at home ourselves. And now she's kind of at the point where she can really have what we're having, just chopped up in a different way. But I made a huge list of all the different foods I wanted Collins to try. And there's probably like 90 different foods on there. And so every week when I'm doing grocery shopping, I'll look at the list and say, okay, what new food do I want her to try this week? And then that will kind of inspire me to figure out something that I want to make with that item.
Well, Lauren, thank you so much for joining us for this series that we've done this month and talked about a number of different things. And I know, like you said, you do have recipes, we have parenting tips, all kinds of things on your website. So can you give us the address of the website and also how to reach you on Instagram as well?
Yes, on Instagram, it's at Lauren Rodick Everly, and my website is laurenrodickeverly.com.
All right, well, thanks again for joining us. This has been a wealth of information for new moms, and I think just for people in general who have kids and are looking for different things, especially during these kind of crazy times. So we appreciate you speaking with us, and let's chat again sometime.
It's been wonderful. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
So I'm joined today with Melissa Plamondon. She is the chairperson for Beyond Borders Circle of Change. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today, Melissa.
You bet. Thank you.
Lloyd Co-op kicked off Kindness Wins this month, and obviously 10% of the proceeds of the merchandise they sell is going to be going to Beyond Borders Circle of Change. But before we get into that, can you just tell me a little bit more about the organization?
Sure. So we are a community coalition. And we are made up of people from Lloyd Catholic School Division, Lloyd Public School Division, Alberta Health Services, Sask Health Authority, the Youth Center, the Lloydminster Sexual Assault and Information Center, Canadian Red Cross, and our local SHINE program. And we work together to strive to create a community that's rooted in kindness and compassion, and one that's promoting a culture of safety and caring. So we do different initiatives that are centered around kindness and bullying prevention. We have a program with the local RCMP on positive ticketing, and we do our Kindness Wins grants, which are just kicking off this month. And then we also train teens in our community to become youth facilitators to provide programs for younger children on bullying prevention and healthy relationships.
So like I mentioned earlier, 10% of the proceeds from the Kindness Wins merchandise at the Lloyd Co-op is going to be going to Beyond Border Circle of Change. Can you just talk a little bit more about the partnership and how everything works with the money you guys get and how you put that into action?
You bet. So we're really pleased to be able to work with the co-op again this year. They've been great supporters for us. And with the proceeds that we get from the campaign, 10% of the proceeds go directly into our Kindness Wins grant program. And what this is a program that we invite every school in Lloydminster to apply for. And we provide them with a little bit of money to help them fund their Kindness Wins ideas and initiatives that they put on within the school and within the community. And the co-op is also generously agreed to donate some sweet treats for us to put into some self-care packages that we're putting together for every single staff member in both school divisions this year.
And obviously, you guys have partnered with the Lloyd Co-op for the past few years, so this isn't the first year that you're doing this. So how important is it, do you think, to be able to make Pink Shirt Day just not one day, but highlight not just anti-bullying, but kindness overall, and to make it a whole month kind of event?
Right. We feel like it's really important to not only just focus on what not to do, such as bullying, but also, you know, we know the best antidote to bullying is kindness and compassion. So promoting that all the time is absolutely important. And we're really, really thankful for the support from the co-op, from the sales of those awesome, cool hoodies and t-shirts, because not only do you get to wear a great graphic designed clothing from our local artists, but it's also going to support a really good cause, which goes, excuse me, back into the community and spreads throughout. Like there's so many people that will be affected by these initiatives that it's really a positive thing. And we need kindness now more than ever.
Is there anything else that you want to add just relating to Kindness Wins and Beyond Border Circle of Change?
Sure. I would actually like to just mention that we've kind of created another part of this initiative this year, and that is to show some appreciation to all of our teachers and our staff in our schools. We know they've been through a lot in the past year, having to be adaptable and resilient. And so one of the things that we want to do is just to say thank you. We see you, we appreciate you. So by developing these self-care kits, we hope to be able to get that message across to them so that not only are we thanking them, but it's also, the message is to say to them that to be there for others, but to never leave yourself behind. And so that kindness wins when we're also kind to ourselves. Because we know it's the caregivers, the helpers, and those that are serving others wholeheartedly that aren't always the ones who have the tendency to remember to do that for themselves as well. So we hope by doing this that we can just let them know how important they are and how much we appreciate them, and to not leave themselves behind. So kindness to them as well.
And one final thing I was going to ask, I know last year when we were able to go into schools more, I got to see different activities at different grade levels that school children here in Lloydminster were doing centered around kindness. So can you just talk a little bit about how each year kind of the Kindness Wins campaign has kind of grown and how students are getting involved into it?
You bet. Well, this year, so our committee actually just met this morning virtually, and we approved 10 applications that came in, and a large number of those initiatives are centered around elders and seniors in our community. I think is really wonderful because we know they're certainly some of the most vulnerable population right now. We talk about isolation and things like that. So a lot of the schools are focusing their attention towards how they can reach out to seniors in the community and the different residences. So they're creating visual art. One of the schools is doing digital picture frames for seniors so they can keep them updated as to what's happening in school and community. Some of them are creating like flower plots and growing flowers for them. And just seeing kids get involved with that and having them connected to our elderly population is so important. And our teachers do a fabulous job at doing that. So it's a win-win.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with me today. This is a great topic to highlight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. Minus 25 here for tomorrow, minus 29 there on Saturday. That's not including the wind chill factor. It's going to be a lot colder than the numbers you see on the screen here. Minus 33 on Sunday. Sunday overnight is going to get to around that minus 50 mark there, and that could be leading to some possible cars not starting heading into Monday if you don't plug your vehicle in there. Minus 31 there on Monday, minus 28 on Tuesday, minus 22 there on Wednesday, and then minus 20 as it kind of drops a little bit, but of course it's going to stay that way for a little bit there. We are going to see some very cold Sunday and Monday mornings there as we see the minus 41 expected to be throughout the day there. And then looking at our averages, usually minus 8 is around our average and minus 18 is our average low.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.